Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. This kind of snuck up on me because I didn't know they were doing this at all. But 16 years later, or not, whatever. Marble Hornets has returned. Kinda. Let's get Tony up the screen there. So you guys know way back in 2010. They did. Marble Hornets came out, lasted for about 4 years or so, till 2014, and now it's actually like 11 years later. But you know, yeah. And I was confused when I saw it. I didn't know what it was. I saw it pop up in my notifications, and I didn't think anything of it until part two came out. And I'm like, well, what is Rosswood? What? And I'm like, wait, this is Marble Hornets. What? And like, I know this was going on. I follow Troy Wagner on Instagram. I now follow Joseph Delage as well. Uh, I wasn't before, but I do now. You don't know, they're the ones in charge. They're Jay and Alex. So yeah, I was like, okay, this is something. How are we gonna come back to this? How are we gonna go back to this world? And then, because the thumbnail for the first episode, it says Crayley in the real world, and I'm like, what? A thing pops up saying that this is footage found of Jay Merrick and Alex Crayley when they were filming filming Alex Crayley's TV series Crayley in the Real World, where he goes out into the real world to find weird things. I'm like, okay, and then they show them, and they're very much now like Joseph's got blonde hair and a goatee thing going, and Troy grew a beard, so it's like, okay, this. I'm like, so what? You're not sure what this is. Apparently, it's like an alternate reality version of the characters we know. And Marble Hornets exists as a student film that Alex Crayley made 15 years ago. That's it. Either he made it or he tried to make it, whatever. What you're going to realize watching this, by the way, it's only 5 parts, which is very disappointing, and I do have an issue with that. We'll get to it when we get towards the last episode. But like, what you're gonna notice with this is that there wasn't many people involved. There's Troy, there's Joseph, there's 2 other people which are shown in this. They're interviewing this girl whose name I do not know. I'm sorry. And she knows all of the lore of Rosswood and stuff, and she thinks it's just lore. Then interview this guy. The whole first part, to me, I think I've only watched that once, and then if I watch it again, it's in some other, like the Renegades. Nate, he reacted to it from Renegades. Check their stuff out. That's how I kind of rewatched it, because the whole first part, it feels like they didn't have enough spooky stuff to fit the 5 episodes, so we have this. And what it is, it's sort of like a refresher course where they're interviewing this guy who claims that he and his brother and these 2 chicks went out to Rosswood, and they ended up near the tunnel, and his brother went missing, and then the 2 girls were acting weird, and he was able to get out of there, but the rest of them didn't. And they just say, okay, he's cuckoo, he's gone lost, he's out of here. And we're going to call you a cab and get you out of here. And that's basically the whole first part. And I'm like, okay, so part 2, we're going to get into it. And sort of, because part 2 starts, let me tell you, there's a lot of them pointing the camera in the air or on the ground. It's got to be on purpose, right? Because these guys are filmmakers. They know what they're doing. But a lot of the time, I understand sometimes you gotta do that. Like there's a transition in part 3. 2? 3. I think it's toward the end of part 2, actually. where it transitions from day to night, and the camera's on the ground, and he tilts it back up, and it's nighttime. They sort of did that in the original, where it was more like they went into the basement. It wasn't really a, you know, thing, but yeah. No. It starts because at the end of the first episode, Alex said we're gonna go to Rosswood Hospital and we're gonna check it out, and she does not want to go there at all, and she just takes off. Okay, we'll put a thing, and to show you that, because everything in the first part is like edited very well, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna make a rough cut of that first stuff. Okay, you do that. Jay says I'm gonna do a rough cut of that. Okay. But yeah. So then we're going to the hospital, and we get a familiar look of Alex walking in front of Jace, who's recording. And if you don't think you're supposed to think this is familiar, Jake turns the camera to him and gives you a look like, is this familiar? Just the look on his face as they're walking, and they point out there's like, this is the tree we turned on, and then there's the hospitals over this way. And I'm like, well, there wasn't a tree before, but okay, it was just they went over train tracks, but maybe the train tracks weren't actually on the way to the hospital. They just did that for the original series to give it, I don't know. So they get to the hospital, they look around, and yes, in the 15 years or 11 years even from when the last time they've been there, it has gone to shit. The floors are falling down. They weren't able to get up the stairs. A part of it feels like this is scripted, but also them kind of going, oh, remember, like maybe it wasn't, and we're going to go by what's there. We're going to improv. They find an old DV tape, which could be theirs. I don't know if they purposely put it there or if that was actually one of theirs. And they're like, oh, we forgot that there. Let's just ad-lib this stuff. I don't know. And if you think, it just like the original, you're going to see that tape, we're going to see the footage. But he's like, wish I had something to play this on, but I don't, or I keep it and then just threw it. And you're like, oh. And they kind of teach you that too, because there's one point that looks like the camera's going to start glitching because of the operator. And he's like, oh, I think the battery is low. Or I think the SD card is full. I'm like, it's cheap. So they go to the places you would. They go to they're in the one room, the dormitory room. They can't really get the places. Floors there's graffiti everywhere now. And then they go to the other place and they find, this is a place they find a room where we could this is like our base of operations, and we're gonna stay here all day and all night. Alex cuts his opening promo thing. We're here, or whatever, his little intro when they check out the regular one. But yeah, a weird thing happens because they're walking. They walk back out, and they find the utility room with the little tunnel, right? And you hear a noise when they kind of put the camera there. The noise kind of reminds you of when they were at the Rosswood, or at the place with the red tower, and when they walked by the little holes that made the noise. I don't know. It's like, and they don't seem to remember that one, and I'm pretty sure that is scripted. That one, like, I don't remember this because that was a part of the plot in Marvel Hornets, and yeah. So they hear a noise, and it's maybe they check it out beforehand, and they go. I think maybe they check that out, the utility thing, before, and then when they find that room, they hear a noise. They go out to check it, and they see this door, and this door must have fallen over. It was hanging there. It was falling over, but I've watched this part a few times now. The door was already laying there. So I don't know if that was a mistake. And their part of it was scripted. That it was supposed to fall over, but it was already falling over. Couldn't get it. I don't know. I don't know. But there is sort of a nod too, and they're standing. Jay's like, hey, wait. This, yeah, this. You said this was your money shot. My what? Your money shot. You had Brian like leaning over here, and him say some stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I do kind of remember that. And then he started talking about there was a guy with a shotgun that was warning them to stay out of there. And I don't. Was that a story from when they actually filmed it? I don't know, but whatever it was. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So like I said, they hear the noise, they go to check it out. Oh, it must be this door. Then they hear another noise coming from where they were, and they left their bag with stuff in it. So they run back, and it's there. And then this is where they turn around, and Jay realizes it's nighttime now. And this is an inconsistency here, because they're like, oh, it's like 10 o'clock at night, which means 5 hours have like passed, because it was like 5 o'clock or so. The sun was setting, but it wasn't, dark. But like now this feels like they watched Grave Encounters and Blair Witch and smooshed them together, because it's like the eternal darkness. That's Blair Witch. Like it never moves. You're stuck in the dark. Same thing with Grave Encounters. So now they're stuck here in this hospital in the dark. Oh, it's very Grave Encounters. Like what do we do? And no matter what happens, it always stays dark, and the hours keep ticking. But then why did the time jump? That is never explained. It's just dark, because it's the only time that the time jumps. Whereas now the time stays with itself for the most part, but it's always dark. Yeah. So they don't know what to do. They're kind of stuck in the dark. They try to leave. They decide they're gonna try to leave. Jay's gonna try to call his significant other, Riley, and they gotta call them that because there's a thing that started up that in the original series Jay was gay, canonically gay. I've seen that series so many times. I don't know where they got that from. I couldn't find any evidence of it. I tried to look it up. Nothing. I couldn't find anything. But here, his significant other, it refers to Riley, which is a very androgynous name. It could be for a man or a woman. He always refers to them as they. He refers to Riley as they. They or them. So something there, tries to call, and they don't answer. And that's the end of part 2. It cuts. There's not really much of anything in between. There's no because it's footage that they've cut into pieces. Honestly, you could have put this into like a 45-minute movie or whatever it would have been, an hour or so. One thing, it could be Marble Hornets the movie or something, be better than that movie they called Marble Hornets, or with Marble Hornet they say always watch a Marble Hornet story or whatever. Don't get me wrong, that was good, but after watching Marble Hornets and then rewatching that, it's not exactly So it's ringing, and then it cuts, and ringing, and it cuts. When it comes back, it's still ringing. They can't find anything, and they find a tree, and they end up back at the hospital. And from now on, no matter where they go, they always end up back at the hospital. Till the last part, end up back at the hospital. So, yeah, and they're very confused as to what it is. They end up going back to the room and holding up. And now there's something weird happening as well, where periodically you'll hear a scraping noise out in the hallway, and they have to hide, despite the fact they hide in the same place every time. Is that supposed to be the operator's arms dragging on the ground, I think? I don't know. It's really weird. So, like I said, they keep trying to escape to the front. They can't. At one point, they are... They try to do it, and they get turned around again. So they say, okay, here's what we're going to do. we're gonna look at the building and walk away. We're looking at the building so that it can't do that. And then they run into the utility area. So they decide, okay, we're just gonna go down there. So Jay gets down there before Alex can. Operator shows up behind him, and that's the end of part 3. There's a lot more in part 3, but it's more talking, arguing, Jay wanting to stop, Alex wanting to keep recording because all this stuff could help him because he's not. Jay's got a stable job and he's got an office job. He wants more. You know. So yeah. So yeah, and then the next part starts with Jay in the tunnel, kind of crawling around when he gets a call from Alex saying, well, "Where did you go?" He goes, what do you mean? I'm in the tunnel. What tunnel? The tunnel that we were at. I don't know where that is. We were walking down the hallway and you were gone. What? No, I'm in the tunnel. No, I went in the tunnel. Did you not see that thing? I don't know where that is. Can you meet me in the front, please? Something's off. So he's like, okay, fine. So he starts going down the tunnel and he sees a light in the tunnel. As he starts going towards it, it flicks to black again. He goes, oh. Like, oh, you almost got it. So he goes up and he finds Alex at the front. Eventually, after a jump scare, he's like, okay, I'm here. What do you want? What do you mean? He's like, you called me. No, you called me. No. Jay also tries to call Riley on the way out if the phones are working again, but it doesn't work. What do you mean? You called me. No, I didn't. You called me and told me to meet you here. But don't you remember we went to the tunnel? Yeah. What happened after I ran in? What did you do after I ran in? I can't remember. Alice can't remember what happened. They're in part 4 now, by the way. So they're convinced something is going on. They don't know. Again, the scraping thing happens periodically. They gotta hide. More arguing, of course, but they gotta keep going. There was one point during the earlier ones where Jay's just gonna use the light on the camera, and he's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. We might need that should our flashlights go out. Which happens. So they hunker back in the room, and then decide to try to go to sleep. And they turn the camera off. When it comes back on, someone is running in the thing. Reminds me of the footage of someone running in a tunnel at one point in the original one. But someone gets in like the big tunnel. Someone's getting in the little tunnel, and it's revealed that it's Alex. So there's something going on with Alex, and operator is there. Nate from Renegades said that maybe the tunnel is the way out. I'm not exactly sure how that would work or if it even leads anywhere, to be honest. And I was like, I hope not, because like one of the worst parts of the original one is the episode where Tim is just going through a bunch of sewer tunnels and stuff. Where Tim's going through one, and then there's Jay's going through it. It's just, I don't know. It's a lot of nah. But anyway, so they both wake up. They realize it's been 10 days and they're still alive. They should be dead because you can only survive for like 48 to 37 hours or whatever it is, 3 days at least without food and water. And they're still alive and ticking. It's been like 10 days or so. And yeah. So they're once again going to try to leave. They don't know what to do next or anything. They don't know. And then at one point there's a point where they start coughing and stuff. That's in there too. But like while Jay is doing this, Alex walks out of the room. And then Jay realizes that Alex is gone and goes after him, and that's where this episode ends. So we're on part 5, the final part of this. I hope they do more. I don't know how they would do that. They have to cast Riley or something and have them chasing after, figuring out what happened, I guess. But I have to figure out a way to do more alternate reality stuff, whatever. Figure out something. But anyway, we're not done yet. We're not done. So part 5 starts, and Jay pops up on the screen. He's got apparently it has been a very long time, because the flashlights no longer work apparently, and he's only got the light of the camera, which he hasn't been using because Alex told him not to, and he's sort of been roaming around the dark. And from the way his voice is going, you can tell him he's gone a little bit bye, and his hair is wet, and he's acting all weird, and he can't find Alex. Alex disappeared, and he can't find him. He doesn't know where he is. And you hear the noises again, scraping noises. You gotta shut the light off and be quiet and try to go out. And then, he looks out and he sees the operator there. He coughs. He goes back in the room, I think, and he comes back out again, and he trips over something, and it's revealed to be Alex's dead body. It looks like he's dead. And he just takes off. He runs. And he runs into the woods, and he keeps going. And then his phone vibrates. And it's clearly his phone is dead, but it's vibrating, and he's hitting the thing. And you hear Alex's voice going, "Jay, where are you? Jay, where are you? Jay, where are you?" Something is going on. He just keeps running, and it cuts, and all of a sudden, he's in the tunnel, the original tunnel from the original series. And I'm like, the tunnel took you to the last episode to do it. The tunnel, and he sees this weird light at the end, and starts going towards it. When they get all squiggly and everything, and when he like, not unconscious, he's like screaming. You hear Alex yelling for him, "Jay, where are you? Help me! Where are you?" And then, like, disappears. The camera is moved by something. It's probably one of them just like scripting it, but still. And then, when it comes back, Jay's back at the hospital again, in the room, and he's like, I don't know. He's coughing. And he doesn't know what to do. And then he is found by the operator again. Everything goes weird and wonky. And then he's gone, and the camera is sitting there, and it's pulled back. And then snap cut to, it's in the grass in the middle of the day. You see a little bit of the operator flashing, and then it's done. And then the narration words pop up saying that what was it? That they try to find that this footage was found by the crew that was demolishing. The camera and the footage was found by the crew demolishing the Rosswood Hospital. As still had 84% battery on it, and the footage was on there, which they switched out SD cards. So where they made it very known they switched out SD cards. So was there? Did they also find the bag too with the SD cards in it? Might be a little plot hole there. And that Riley Merrick wanted to put the footage out to see if anyone could help find Jay, Alex, who are still missing. And then the final message reads, "Please come back." Now, is that telling them to please come back, or is it telling us, "Please come back, we're going to do more"? I don't know. I am a bit disappointed, but I will say that I didn't actually think we were going to have a happy conclusion. I mean, the original series had a very weird conclusion. Like, the only one who really got a happy ending was Tim. Maybe Jessica, we don't know what happened to her. But, like, Tim, he said everything was alright, but I don't think it was. I don't know. And he wasn't in this. Apparently they had a falling out, but Tim did a stream thing quite a few years ago now. He and Joseph were at least still in good terms, so I don't know. Maybe it's just Troy. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'm not in the loop, but or maybe they just had this idea and it worked without Tim. I don't know. I kept waiting for like a Maskey to show up or something because it's not the universe. They're still alive, right? Tim and Brian, right? But no, it's just them and whoever it is that's in the suit and making the noise. So, I don't know. That was interesting. I also thought that perhaps the girl in the beginning would somehow show up, or that guy who was delivering the exposition of what would happen and the seizure things or whatever, but I don't know. Or what if it's a nice twist that in this world nothing weird actually happened and this guy made it up to lure them there and murder them? Ooh. But we do know weird things were happening, so it's... I hope they come back to explain some more, because like this doesn't really explain anything from the original series, which I didn't really think it was going to once we got into this whole alternate world thing. But now here we have more questions for this version. Like, what's with the tunnel? Why do they keep going in the, lure it there? I don't know. Like the service tunnel, not the other one. I don't know. And why did they save the other tunnel to the last episode? And part of me was like, oh, Jay's gonna get out, and I'm like, then I remembered, wait, this is supposed to be footage that they found, so neither of them get out, I guess. Unless there's a twist and they're like, oh, they got out, but they're still trying to find Alex. I don't know. That could have been I just thought that could have been a fun twist. If they were doing this, and it happened, and then Jay gets out, but his memory's wiped. Because remember, that happens. And he's like, oh, he doesn't remember anything. And he's like, oh, my old schoolmate Alex Crayley gave me these tapes, and I'm going to figure out what happened to him. And like, it's a prequel, actually. But he was involved the whole time, and Alex doesn't remember either, and that could be his explanation. Then there's this extra footage that they found that makes no sense. I don't know. No, but also, since they've established that they're demolishing Rosswood Hospital within the canon of this, I don't know that we'll be able to return to that. It's like, oh, we found some more footage or something. I don't know. Like, the only thing it could be is if Riley comes after them, or Alex has someone in his life or something. He said he has no one. Like, he's like, the only people on my phone are co-workers. So, that he's got no one but really Jay, I don't know. But this was an interesting idea, I guess. But, yeah. So what are your thoughts on Marble Hornets, Rosswood? No, how much you like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.